So we'll call this budget meeting for April the 8th, 2025 to order. And we do need to have a couple things under new business. Item 4, we're going to introduce our county manager, and then also we need to approve a job description. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda with the changes mentioned?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we're going to have a discussion of the budget. So Ms. Stacy, I'm going to let you talk about a little bit of the changes that you've made since the last, and kind of give us an update of where we're at.
Okay. You should all have a copy of the budget in front of you. And if you go to the very last page, you will see what the deficit currently sits at is $68,878. And since our last meeting, and including any of the changes that we discussed in that meeting, plus we met with Donna with the health department, and Donna made some more cuts into her budget. And then Kim and I met with recreation. And recreation has a proposition, I guess, that will have to be approved by you guys tonight. But if so, that would also help us with the budget, because it does decrease their expenses for the recreation.
And that would be in addition to what you already have it at?
No, it's already necessary. Just, yeah, the deduction is just so that you can see where it would land us. And then we've also done the rounding factor on everything, so it'll be ready to import into Logic. So just everything rounded to the closest dollar. So making all of those changes, we reviewed. There's no raises across any of the departments. We've double checked all the capital outlay to make sure that there's nothing that's not a necessity at this time. We've reviewed, office supplies, postage, those types of things, just to make sure that they're really running according to trends and that they're not overestimating what they expect to spend. And then that's making all the changes that we discussed for special appropriations as well. So I'm not really sure where else to go or how else to accomplish balancing this. So that's why we needed to have this meeting, just to discuss what your thoughts were and how we need to proceed. And to get this down to a zero or a surplus.
And then Kim, I believe, did you want to talk about the recreation in closed session? Or
Yeah, we probably need to do it first, and then when we come back out, y'all can decide whatever you want to do.
Okay. So anybody else have anything for the budget discussion? Lynn, do you have any other recommendations and suggestions?
Not a whole lot. I've went through this like Stacy has, backwards and forth, and I think my deficit was like 200 some thousand. I think is what I last reported, and they have cut a lot more than I did. So, but I sent them recommendations on what I had suggested, and also possibly, increasing revenues. But it's just one of those things. It's just budget is a projection, and it can change in a heartbeat. And the only thing is during a projection is you try to set something in place, but throughout the year it is amended to be able to keep it current. Even if a budget is adopted, it becomes basically a guideline or a rule to follow, but it gives you the statute gives you the opportunity to go in and to make those changes to make sure that you comply with statute 159. So, as I've been working on other budgets and other locations, that's one of the things I always tell them: this is a proposal. the proposal is, not set in stone until July 1. And then July 1, before, that date, it can actually be changed. So things may look bad at the time, but things within the next couple of months may change. We may have, as the old people used to say, a rich uncle may pass away and leave us a lot of money. So we may be able to make it happen. But it's a difficult year, not just for us, but all across Western North Carolina. Everybody is seeing hardship and reductions in revenue. And it is, as we see the local news, it's everywhere. Cuts is being made. And in our case, we're not cutting as much as some of these places in the millions of dollars. But overall, we've had to cut about $1 million out of the current budget. We're able to get it to where Stacy's got. And a lot of people's not happy. But they have to understand that our population is not young like it used to be. And we're now the generation that is going to be facing a restricted income. And that restricted income plays a part in our contribution to the county tax base. So my hats is off to everybody that's worked on this, and it's just something that, you know, we still want to provide the services that we do, but sometimes we've got to take and give a little bit to make it happen.
So I will add that I've spoken with the current interim county manager, Ms. Kim, and she had brought up the levy that you guys had put in place for the quarter cent that's kind of being set aside for the Justice Center. And, you know, I feel like that would be a good thing to look at. I don't know if that would help us currently, but I think we should go ahead and get that in motion. So I kind of wanted to mention that to you guys so we maybe can get it on the next ballot, whenever that may be. But you guys in 2018 wrote a resolution for a levy to be placed for a 1/4 cent on the county sales tax in use in our county, basically to be set aside for the Justice Center. And so we thought, I believe, Kim, you mentioned that we were at 6.25 for sales tax, and most counties are at 6.75 to 7. So we have room to go up on that. If we can just figure out how to make it through this year and not have to go up on property tax, then we can hopefully get this put in place for maybe the next fiscal year. But you know, if the board sees fit, I think that we should look into having this levy increased to help not only with the cost of the Justice Center, but maybe other specific areas like fire and rescue squads and different things like that. So if you guys would like to do that, we can have Jay and we can work together on that.
If I may say, Madam Chair, that way it spreads to the people who are non-residents. So our people that are coming in, our visitors, would pay a income tax or a sales tax that they're used to paying much higher in, say, Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge. We don't think a thing about it if we go down there for a weekend and pay 19%. So this would just be a way to gain a little bit of revenue across the board, not just to our residents.
I think that was a great idea. So I appreciate you for bringing it up. So I guess one of the questions that I've thought about too is, you know, the current 1/4 cent that we're setting aside, I don't know if that's restricted. And is that something that we can find out?
It is restricted.
It is restricted, so we couldn't use it right now to help.
Not Not due to the resolution, how the resolution is set up, it is restricted, it's unrestricted.
In the way it was presented to them.
Yes.
And that's okay. I mean, all we can do is look at it and see. Any other discussion?
Not something very visible in the future, as soon as we can, get it on the ballot and do that.
Okay, so we could talk a little bit more, I believe, in closed session about those other cuts we may have to make. So we'll move on to older new business. So do we have any old business? No, okay. So as far as new business, I am pleased to announce Mr. Brody Cody as our new county manager effective April the 21st. Is his start date. And so Brady, I was going to give you time if you would like to say anything.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I just want to say I appreciate the opportunity from the board. I'm honored and excited to get started, to get to work for the county. And I also want to thank Kim Chris for serving as interim and creating such a great example and being such a good resource in this transition as well. So look forward to working with you as we can continue, you continue in your role as well. So again, thank you, and look forward to working with you all.
Well,
I've just now noticed Kim's got us all split up. She's got the man over here. And Ray's got the-
I have Brady back. We just kind of a
Just
list.
kidding. I just observed that. Sorry.
And we do, as the board, want to thank Kim for all she's done. She's been wearing many hats for many years now. So we hope that this will help take some of the stress off of that, which you've done a great job handling it. But and I, you know, speaking with Kim, she was ready for progress to happen, and she's all for this. So I think that I'm really excited to see as a group where we move forward. So. And then the next item would be to have a motion for approval for Ms. Dee Stevens' job description. She needs that for accreditation purposes. If I can have a motion for approval of that.
I have not been, is everybody else read the job description?
I have not had the opportunity to read that yet.
When did she read?
I guess you guys can, we can table that until next week.
Yeah,
That'd
it's
be
the same.
acceptable.
I don't think so.
Okay.
And that way I can fix the back cover where y'all can sign fresh. See, the back cover had a old signature, so that would be.
Okay.
We'll be there next week, but you guys can do it also.
Second.
So do we need to make a motion to table that?
I thought you did. I'm sorry, I'll make a motion to table that until next week.
I'll second. All in favor? So we need to also do as far as new business, we'll add this in. Can I get a motion for approval of the amendment to the budget number 10? Stacy has provided us with a copy of the amendment. It'll be an increase in the amount of $3,331.55. Is that correct?
Right, most of the changes are happening interdepartmentally, so the only new revenue that is coming into consideration is some insurance proceeds that we received. We are having to move some money. Sanitation had some extra money in contracted services for some inspections that we anticipated this year that did not come along. And the senior center is running low for food and perishables due to the increased cost of food. So we will be moving $27,500 from sanitation, contracted services, and $7,500 from the contingency funds in the governing body to accommodate the $35,000 they will need to maintain the rest of this fiscal year. And then, they also needed $758 dollars and 70 cents for contracted services, and that's basically just to cover their copier throughout the rest of the year. And that number had increased, I guess, from usage, so they reevaluated that for this next budget year. And then Donna Stevens had requested some interdepartmental adjustments between just dental, general health, child health, and then she had some of the funds from Hurricane Helene as well that were just being moved around. So those are all just interdepartmental adjustments that are happening so that she can get through this fiscal year with the expenditures that she anticipates for the rest of this year.
So I'll make a motion to approve budget amendment number 10.
I'll second the motion.
All in
That's,
So we will go into closed session for G.S. 143, 318, 11A, 16 for privileged or confidential information and personnel.
Ms. Major, I forgot one thing, I apologize. On this amendment as well, we had an order that was going to exceed the $5,000 approval level that I have, so we bring it before the board. And this is for our new county manager's office furniture, and the total is $5,093.04, which is over my approval level, so that's part of that amendment, and I was bringing that to your attention tonight if you would approve that, so that I could proceed with that purchase order.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Closed session. Can I get a motion to approve the recreation adjustments that we discussed in closed session, which will help with our budget?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, and can I get a motion to approve the write-off for $55.95 that was due to an employee error?
Motion to approve $55.90 write-off because of employee error.
All in favor? And then, can I get a motion to approve, Michaela Turpin, leave without pay for April 14th to the 18th?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? So can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.